So, since it's been almost 7 years since I last made a video about my plants, I thought I would start off by just updating you guys about all the changes that have happened in the last 7 years. It's going to take a couple minutes to get through, but afterwards I'll show you all my plants. So, if you want to skip this part, I understand. Okay, so in my last videos, about my plants, I was living with my parents in Garfield, New Jersey, in just like a tiny room. Um, and I had like, I don't know, between 60 to 80 plants probably. But soon after that, I actually got a terrible case of thrips, or my plants did. And it wiped out like 50% of my collection. It was devastating. I lost some of my oldest plants, some of my favorite plants, some of my most beautiful plants. Um, and I just like could not get rid of them. It was really sad. Um, and so I was dealing with that as I before and after I moved out of that out of my parents' place. And then I moved to Newark, New Jersey, and um, I was still dealing with, the thrips and like my plants dying. Eventually, it stopped. Like my plants stopped dying. And then I did start to rebuild my collection. I was in that apartment for a little over 2 years, I think. Um, like I was there for the pandemic, lockdown, and all that. And then in 2022, in spring, I moved to Hawaii. And so I couldn't bring any of my plants with me. And I ended up selling some of them, giving some away as gifts, and then to special friends of mine. And then some of them I left with my parents. So I actually left the kangaroo paw fern that I made a video of with my parents. It's still alive and thriving. It's not too much bigger. The leaves got bigger and more mature. But the plant itself kind of stayed relatively the same size. So I basically had no plants in Hawaii when I got there. I actually made a small collection while I was there, but I kept it really minimal, which I'm grateful for because after a year and a half, I got pregnant and had to leave because I couldn't stay there. So I left all the plants there once again and ended up in Oakland, California, which is where I am now. Um, and when I first got here, I was like, I'm not going to buy any plants. I'm like, I had become accustomed to like switching homes quite often that I was like, it's not smart for me to, you know, adopt these plants or buy plants just in case I have to move again. So the first couple of plants that I got, I've been here for over 2 years now, and the first couple of plants I got were just cuttings, and I'll show them to you. But yeah, California, the plant culture here is huge. People have plants on their property and obviously indoors too. So yeah, I acquired some cuttings of things, and I think I bought like one or two plants when I first got here. I am still trying to keep it minimal. I don't want to. I don't have a budget for plants, so when I get one, it's like I'm really treating myself. And but yeah, there are some plants that I'm just like, "Ugh, I have to if they're the right price, and if I have the lighting for them. I'm like, all right. So I'm gonna show you what plants I have acquired in the last 2 years while being in California. And once again, I kept it minimal. And I have actually been able to get back two of my plants from New Jersey, which is my ficus bonsai, my ginseng ficus, and my string bean Hoya. So you can see how those are doing now. Okay, now let's go see my plants. Okay, it's gonna be a little tricky to film this and hold the microphone, but I'm gonna try. So, if you watched my succulent video, you might recognize this Rhipsalis. It's not the same one that I had, obviously, but it actually looks almost identical at this point. I got this when it was much smaller, but yeah. And it's funny, I kept them both in a bonsai pot. Um, but yeah, if you watch that video, you'll know that this is one of my favorite plants. So I have that. Then I have this Enjoy pothos. This is one of the cuttings I started with. I think it had 2 or 3 leaves when I got it. It actually has not been doing spectacularly, like considering I've had it for 2 years. And I could see some leaves dying back over there. I've repotted it quite a few times, and it was a water cutting when I got it. So maybe that has something to do with it. But yeah, the leaves that I do have are healthy and pretty a decent size. But I just thought it would grow faster than it has. And then here we have a micro ZZ. I didn't know these were a thing. Um, but yeah, I went to a Filipino festival and there was a Filipino plant shop. At the festival, I got this Hoya from her. I think it's an Eskimo Hoya. And it came like this, like on the bark with the moss. It's been doing well, growing at a regular rate for a Hoya. But I really like it. And then underneath is my string bean Hoya that I had in New Jersey. Also another slow grower, like most Hoyas. But yeah. Sorry, I know it's not like very bright right now. Okay, next we have this string of hearts that I got at a supermarket here. As you can see, I had to loop it because it was so long. And I actually, when I first got it, I cut it back like almost all the way to the pot. And that's how much it's grown in only a year, actually. I got it last January. Um, but yeah, I had to get it because it was only $15 for this, like, I guess it's a 6-inch pot or 4-inch. I don't know. But yeah, sorry. Rhea's napping, so I have to whisper more. Anyway, yeah, my string of hearts. Then I went to a Walgreens that same day and found this Micans. Obviously, it wasn't this size, but I found a philodendron Micans for $12. I was like, and it was like almost dead. But I managed to bring it back to life, and I actually cut it back recently. So I'll show you how much I cut off of it. Okay, next is just this little jade plant. This is one of the first cuttings as well that I just found on the sidewalk. And one of my daughter's middle names is Jade. So I was like, well, I have to have a jade plant. So next we have the Micans cuttings. There were more, but a few of them died, but that's what's left. They haven't rooted yet, which I'm surprised, but yeah. And then here is the ficus, the ginseng ficus that I've had for, I guess, 10 years now, maybe? Yeah, 10 years. It's doing super well. I did notice what looked like thrips on the underside of some of the leaves recently, and I like freaked out. But I think if I did have thrips, they're no longer there. But I'll show you the underside. So if you've ever experienced thrips, you'll recognize like that, like under the leaf, you see? That's what thrips looks like. They suck out the juice from underneath the leaf. And that's why sometimes it's hard to catch because not everyone turns their leaves upside down. Okay, next I got this Hoya at a Home Depot recently. I went there for something else, but of course I looked at the plants and I was like, okay. They had like a ton of Hoyas, which is like one of my favorite genuses. And it already came in this cute hanging planter. So I was like, okay, have to get that. And then this is an angel vine. Not a huge fan. I really like how it looks, but it kind of acts like a fern. It's super fragile, and as soon as it gets dehydrated, it drops its leaves. So there's a lot of like bare stems in the middle from when I first got it, and before I realized like I have to water it every 2 to 3 days. Um, but yeah. Then behind my computer, we have an agave, a butterfly agave, and all the dead angel vine leaves. But yeah, big fan of agaves. Then sorry, we have a cuddly cactus, I think is what it's called, from Whole Foods. Very slow grower, as most cactuses are. And then this Ming Thing cactus right there. That was one of the first plants I actually purchased when I got here, and it has not grown at all. I don't know what's wrong with it. Um, but yeah, it's crazy. It hasn't grown in 2 years. Okay, so next I have a few plants outside. So I'm gonna go show you those, and then there's only a couple, but after that we'll be done. So I am renting a room in a house, but the house has a beautiful backyard and garden. Um, so yeah, I'm super grateful to be here. Yeah, so I'll show you my outside collection. These are actually I live with my brother and his family, so those are their plants, some of them. This is a little succulent collection that I made from plants I found on the sidewalk that were dying. This one I got at like Trader Joe's, and I don't know. Yeah, it's a succulent. This is a manzanita tree. I forget what species of manzanita, but I've loved them for so long. So I finally found one. It was much smaller when I got it, but it was a birthday present that I gave to myself. And yeah, it's just gonna grow with me. Um, then I just have an aloe that I found on the sidewalk as well. And then I have this cast iron plant that was already dying when I got it, but I was like, I'll bring it back to life. And I have not. I've moved where it is a few times. I don't know why it's so unhappy. I think its roots were just like really dead, so it's not really taking in any nutrients at this point. But it's still green, and it does give out new leaves, but they're super tiny. Okay, next we have another little um, succulent collection that I got saved from the sidewalk. It's a Gollum Jade, and then this like darker succulent. Yeah, and then I got this jasmine plant from Trader Joe's. It's starting to bloom again. Super exciting. I love jasmine. And last but not least, this is my little pomegranate tree. Um, I got this as a gift. I had not a baby shower, but I had what's called a blessing way. It's like a little ceremony for new moms. But yeah, so I was gifted it from all my woman friends, and it's doing really well. It bloomed a ton during the fall, and now it dropped its leaves, and now they're coming back as spring starts to arrive. So yeah, that is my full collection. Um, it's so amazing to be in California as a plant lover. Um, like in Jersey, it's just so different. The growth rate here is crazy. They just don't stop because like always growing season. So yeah, that's my plant update after 7 years. Um, and maybe let me know if there's a tutorial you want me to do, or if I should just change subjects and do something else. Okay, bye.